Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of House of the Dragon Season 1, Episode 6, or should I say House of the Dragon Season 2, because this should have been its own season. This felt like almost a completely different show in a lot of ways. Yeah, there's some of the same characters, but there's just so much stuff we missed.
Yeah, we have a 10-year time jump, so we have some new actors and actresses in the new roles. And I mean, throughout other shows, we've seen this work really well, like on The Crown. And then we've seen some recastings in the past, like Better Call Saul, where, Jeff, it didn't work. And some of this worked, some of it I was kind of like, kind of just change, man. I'm missing some of those actors and actresses where I was just like, man, I got attached. It's exactly what you said. This should have just been a season 2, kind of like they do with The Crown. Like, they don't switch the actors and actresses right in the middle of a season. It's like, oh, we're going into the next season, and there's a huge time jump.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because it's like there's a lot of really interesting, powerful, and awesome stuff in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
But, at the same time, I'm still, like, my brain is just like oatmeal at a certain point because it's just all mushy and I'm struggling to keep up with, the new people, the replacements, everything else that's going on. But we will get into all that and, of course, talk about Laena.
Yeah, but before we get into all of that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Jess, this is Matt, and if you want to get new House of the Dragon reviews every week, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, stick with us. We have lots of cool stuff coming up here at the channel. We cover a lot of shows, so take a look and follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
All right, so I just want to start with Laena's death just because of the fact that if we're going to talk about like memorable deaths within the Game of Thrones universe, like her walking up to the dragon and basically Dracarysing herself is one of the just most powerful and painful ways I have seen someone go.
Yeah, she wanted to make a choice to go out the way that she wanted to, and it was a very difficult scene to watch. I mean, we've seen Damon already be married to someone he was not happy with at all. There was no love there.
Yeah.
However, things are different here. I'm not saying like he was madly in love with her, but there was definitely a respect there. There was a caring there. You could see it, with the way that he interacted with her and the playfulness on the dragons. And, I think we all kind of saw this coming. We mentioned this way back in the early reviews when Damon was talking to Corlys. I was like, yeah, he's gonna marry his daughter. That's just kind of the way that makes sense.
It made sense for all of that to happen with Damon. He's somebody who clearly cares about power, who clearly cares about his name. Laena offered something to him, and I think over time, he did sort of settle into a very particular life. He kind of pieced out on where things were going in King's Landing, and he was just like, I'm gonna go over here. If I'm over here, I'm my own guy. People will look up to me. I can be hero Damon that I kind of fancy myself as all the time.
It was Laena, the new actress playing Laena. I just wish that she was around a little bit longer. I mean, she was so good. I became attached to her very quickly. And I think that this transition worked from when we met her when she was like 12 years old or whatever she was at that time. Very, very, very young. Because we didn't really get to know her very well when she was such a young girl. And being introduced to her now, I felt like I was kind of being introduced to her for the first time, where I was really getting to know. I did not expect that we were basically gonna get in there, get to know her. She gone.
And there was just such like a dark and sad parallel with everything that happened with Damon, and then all the way back at the start of this series, what happened, of course, with Viserys, his wife Aemma, the decisions that were sort of put in front of him there. And then in this situation, Laena basically deciding that, okay, Daemon, you're not going to get to make this decision. I'm making this decision for myself. She made it pretty clear the sort of way in which that she wanted to, welcome her child into the world, the place she wanted to be, the place she wanted her kid to grow up. None of that was happening. I mean, it's not a surprise that Daemon is not someone who is either going to listen or understand, mental health concerns of other people.
No, but we did see his kids really grieving and him. There, like I said, there was a connection there. There was a respect there.
Yeah, it's something that's, I think, really going to change him in a big, profound way moving forward, because I think on the other side of this, he's got to be thinking, okay, I have no one else attached to me anymore. There was respect there, but we know Daemon cares about the politics of this world. So I just can't imagine Daemon is going to just chill out the rest of the season far away from King's Landing.
I know that Renera is married and Laena, everything where they are, they've left and everything that's going on, but I still am dying on this hill. I still think that at some point Renera and Damon are going to end up getting married. It's going to be sort of a power move. They are drawn to each other, and that she's going to try to find a way to really solidify her spot on the throne, because there is still some infighting that's going on. It is 10 years later. She's just given birth to her third child. Like seconds later, we have Alicent asking to see this child. That scene of seeing Rhaenyra get up, she's still basically going through, the afterbirth, everything that's happening. She's trailing blood, carrying her son to Alicent. It was a powerful first scene to show that she is tough. She is not willing to take any you-know-what from Alicent, who is questioning who the father of her children are.
Everything in King's Landing at this point is just like an extraordinary mess, and, an entertaining mess very much. I mean, we do have everything going on now with Rhaenyra and Harwin. We didn't really get to see that much of a development of that relationship over time, but here we are. That's going on. We have, I don't know why, but this was one of my favorite moments of the episode, where there's these questions about what the baby's name is going to be, and immediately Laena is like, Joffrey. It is being named Joffrey. It's like, of course you're going to want to name it Joffrey.
And it's interesting to see how their relationship is still kind of working 10 years later, where, Laena is still seeing other men, and she's been having this affair with Harwin all this time. She has 3 children with him that are actually supposed to be Laena's, and that's why Alicent really wanted to see the baby right away. And I think it was an interesting way to kind of go about it, that conversation that she had with the king, who is trying to look away from it, and is just, he gave this story, which really sat with me, because for those of you who are new to the channel, my father is white, my mother is not, and I look only like my father. And TV shows people who are biracial as looking biracial. They don't really show a lot of children that would look like me. Now, I'm saying that knowing that this is obviously Harwin's kids and it is not Laena's kids, but I really appreciated that story about, the white stallion and the black mare who ended up having a horse that didn't look like either of them, sort of thing. And I just wanted to say that I did appreciate that, because that does happen, just not here.
No, what is happening here is all the more complex and bizarre, but also makes sense in the way that Alicent is clearly, she's watching her husband deteriorate. Viserys is clearly not that long for this world. I mean, it's kind of amazing he's still alive, given that he just at the end of the wedding, but
yeah,
he's still there. she's still trying to kind of figure out, okay, where's my place in this world? And beyond all that, how can I position myself in the long term here to try to make sure that I'm okay? Like, she has fully flipped Sir Kristen Cole at this point. Like, he is all about her now.
I think we all knew that was kind of on its way. I mean, he really owes her. And, I think she feels indebted to him as well, because he ended up telling her the truth about Rhaenyra, and it helped her sort of open her eyes to go forward, eyes wide open. And that was, I think, really important for her. And now she feels very much, besides, Sir Kristen, she feels very alone here. She has no real control over her children. Aegon's just like a straight up jerk. He doesn't seem like, like she is really kind of pushing for him to be on the throne. He doesn't seemingly want that at all. He just doesn't even he just wants what he wants when he wants it, kind of thing. And it's not going that great for Alicent. She just doesn't have anybody there that's in a position of power that is really in her corner. And that's where Larys comes in.
Larys, oh, okay. Alicent, you need to do a better job of picking your friends. Like, I understand. Larys, see, he had a very particular, there's a reason you wanted to sort of figure something out here, but man, this guy, his plot, his plan, the fire, the end result of all this, like, yeah, sure, maybe you can get Otto back into the fold somehow. Maybe something is going to come out of this that benefits you, but do you really want to be an allegiance with that guy?
I think she didn't expect him to take it to that level. And what Alicent seems to want around her are truth tellers, people who are going to tell her how it is, no matter what. And so far, it's seemingly she does have two. I'm not saying that Larys is telling her everything, but he is definitely telling her some hard truths of, what was going on with Renera. Turned out he was right. After he just, she kind of was like, oh man, I really, kind of wish my dad was still around, that he was still the hand of the king. I wish I had an ally that was, in a position of power here, because I feel like no one's listening to me. I'm like screaming from the rooftops about Rhaenyra's kids, and Laena, and that it's not his, sort of thing, and nobody's listening to me. I just wish that I had somebody in my corner again. And Larys is like, I can take care of that. And he takes care of it in a way that she clearly didn't sign up for. But when he comes back, he's like, yeah, this is what had to be done. This is where it is. And now we're indebted to each other. So welcome me in even further. It's kind of like she's in a very difficult spot right now, because if she does not tell somebody, he can hold this over her forever. And he seemingly is looking like he's really going to hold on to her. She's not telling anyone.
Yeah, Larys is like a little finger, or he's definitely...
Oh, yes, he is.
Yeah, like he's much more aggressive and violent than a Varys. But here's the analogy I have. Let's say there's some weeds in the garden, and you're like, Larys, I need you to get rid of these weeds in the garden. I need you to make sure that, everything's good in the garden can grow. He goes out and puts a stick of dynamite in the garden, blows the whole garden up, and it's like, okay, the weeds are gone now. Everything is good.
Well, his dad and brother are in the garden. Like, he's willing to do anything to just rise up in a position of power. He knows he's got the queen's ear, which is, pretty powerful. Even though she feels like she doesn't have power, she still does. And I think he knows where he's positioned, and he's in a good position if he can really work her over.
Well, we will keep watch on the journey of Larys here, our latest House of the Dragon / Game of Thrones character to hate, but it's kind of fun hating them. But
he's great. He's a great addition.
Yeah, well, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we will be here throughout all of House of the Dragon. There is so much chaos probably coming. Mm-hmm. Also, check out our coverage of The Handmaid's Tale, another episode coming later this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow us on Instagram. I'm at Jess TV, and we'll see you here next time.